Hey guys, this is Comic Uno and Comic Frontline, and today I'm doing Comic Uno, episode 199. So we were one episode away from 200, which is crazy, 200 episodes of this. But yeah, let's get started. We go worst pick of the week to best pick of the week and everything in between. I had 18 books this week, so it's a little less than I usually get, but let's get started. Number 18 this week is Deadpool Kills the Marvel Universe, again, issue 1. So I got this book on whim. I just, had a lighter week this week, so I'm like, let me try it. It's an issue 1. Heard good things about the original, but this was kind of all over the place. I thought it was supposed to be like a comedy, assassin book, and really it was just Deadpool killing people. But it was really scattered. It wasn't really organized. Him being controlled was not explained very well in the issue. The artwork is the only true positive of the issue for me. So Deadpool Kills the Marvel Universe, again, issue 1 gets 2 stars, and that is number 18. Now another book that I was kind of switching on and off, should I pick Deadpool or this? But this ended up being 17. And that is Green Lanterns, issue 26. Yeah, I did not like this issue very much. The artwork was fine, that was solid, just like Deadpool's artwork was good. But the story was about the first Lantern, and it felt so much like a filler. I didn't really need this story at all about the first Lantern. I feel like we know enough about the first Lantern. Definitely just miss Simon and Jessica here. So, Green Lanterns issue 26 was not a necessary issue to read and was very much a filler. So I'm going to give this 2 stars. Moving on to number 16, which is Nightwing, issue 24. I just don't really love the direction of where the book's going. Artwork also solid for this book, but I don't care for Nightwing teaming up with the villains again. I do like Nightwing's girlfriend. I actually feel like she had the stronger story of her still trying to help out her buddies in the previous villain sidekick club, so I like that aspect, but Nightwing's story is just really fighting. He's just calling out names that we all know. It's like King Shark, Blockbuster's here. Just like all these different villains just being thrown at Nightwing, which just felt like fan service, honestly. So I gave this one 2.5 stars. Moving on to number 15, which disappointingly is so low, but Batman issue 26, which has beautiful artwork, but the story kind of feels repetitive of, what makes the Riddler and the Joker different. It's a bit of a slower paced story. Batman's not very much included in the story, sadly. But yeah, it's just a slower story. Not a filler, but just a slower one, compared to issue 1. And I feel like a lot of the points that were brought up in issue 1 were brought up here too. So Batman issue 26 gets 3 stars, and that is number 15. Moving on to number 14, which is X-Men Gold, issue 7, which really, the artwork kind of brings this down. I do think the pencils were improved, but sometimes Kitty looked a bit inconsistent, and the coloring I still don't like for this book. The beginning of the issue looked very orange, like even this scene, like everything was very orange in the coloring. I just think the coloring could be a lot more cohesive with this book, and that's been a downfall for X-Men Gold. But the story's solid. It's not very much about Secret Empire, but it's about this assassin trying to kill mutants and our team trying to figure out who it is. So it's kind of a generic storyline, but it's interesting to see how the characters are interacting and dealing with it. So X-Men Gold issue 7 gets 3 stars. Now is number 14. Moving on to number 13, which is Superman issue 26, which is also kind of a filler, but if you like John and Clark's relationship, I think you'll have fun with this. It's John feeling like, oh, I could do everything, and Superman saying, no, you can't do that. But Superman also learning, hey, I have to make John learn on his own and kind of do his own thing. He can't be exactly like me. So it's a fun issue. There's some times where I'm like, all right, get to the point. I think the pacing could have been better for the issue, but it's fun. Maybe a little forgettable, maybe a bit of a filler, but if you like these two, I think you'll enjoy the issue. So Superman issue 26 gets 3 stars. Moving on to number 12, which is Jupiter's Legacy 2 issue 5, which has been pretty delayed, honestly. And then the next volume, we have to wait until, I think, 2019. That's 2 years from now. When I saw that, I was like, wow, that's a bit of a wait. Anyways, but yeah, I mean, the issue is good. It's just like your generic superhero fight. The good guys win, technically who are the bad guys, and they end up becoming the superheroes their parents wanted them to be. And that's the issue. It was good, but maybe not totally worth the wait. So Jupiter's Legacy 2, issue 5 gets 3 stars. Moving on to number 11, which is actually higher than usual, and that is Spider-Man issue 8. I thought this issue was a pretty good improvement. I'm not saying it's perfect, because there are some parts that I'm still put my head to the side to, like Bombshell's weird characterization of loving Miles. Hopefully that is part of the storyline, but I liked Miles' mother more here. She's starting to understand Miles a bit, and she's characterized a bit better in this issue compared to previous issues. As you know, Miles' mother has been a big problem for me in this current Spider-Man book. But the artwork's solid. I'm glad that they've been improving, again, that relationship. And the story's not bad. I like the Miles' story with Hammerhead. I think is interesting. So overall, I gave this issue 3.5 stars. Now moving on to number 10, which is The Beauty, issue 16, which has definitely been going back on track. I like this issue of Vaughn and Foster figuring out the murder of the Beauties. And it seems like their case is closed by the end. The villain is really interesting, that she ended up being this beautiful person in high school, and she was in a car accident, so her whole body was burnt, and she desperately wanted to get the Beauty, and once she did, she wasn't physically who she wanted to be. And that's kind of what caused her to do all these things. So it's interesting to see her motive and still also see the lives of our detectives and allow them to grow as characters. So overall, I gave this one 3.5 stars. Still really enjoying it. The Beauty when it focuses on the detectives. Moving on to number 9, glad to see this book back. It's one of my favorites, and that's Snotgirl issue 6. Now, I will say this issue is a bit slower than I wanted it to be for the hiatus that we had, which was like over 6 months. We had a really long hiatus for this one. But I really like the relationship with Snotgirl and Cool Girl. You still don't even know if Cool Girl's real, honestly. It looks like she has this romantic feelings for Cool Girl. There's such a complicated relationship between them. So that was interesting. And also, we have Cute Girl, who's one of Snotgirl's friends. We learned a little bit more about her and that she has imperfections also that she tries to hide. Something I love about this book is that the main character is a superficial person, but it's looking deeply into the story of a superficial person and how social media can become real life and how it could kind of leak into real life. So, really interesting narrative here. Not the strongest issue of Snotgirl, but there's definitely some interesting storylines going on as we build up the overall plot. So, Snotgirl issue 6 gets 3.5 stars. Moving on to I believe we're up to number 8. Yes. Which is All New Wolverine, issue 22, which is a bit higher than it's been because I didn't love last arc, but this arc was made because of Gabby. Oh, Gabby was so much fun. I mean, the issue just opens up with Gabby wearing Deadpool's mask, so enough said there. But Gabby then interacts with the Guardians of the Galaxy. We have Jonathan the Wolverine trying to eat Groot. The comedy was just so good in this issue. The actual Guardians part was fine. You know, they're just trying to figure out more about that alien that died from the infection. You know, it's an okay story. But again, the character interactions and the comedy is what made this issue, even if the artwork's a bit simplistic for this. So All New Wolverine, issue 22, gets a solid 4 stars. Moving on to number 7, which I'm surprised is so high, because I don't love these characters, but I was surprised by this issue. And that is Injustice 2, issue 5, which focuses on Blue Beetle and Booster Gold. Now, this is a relationship I've never personally cared for, but I know has the hardcore following. And I was surprised with this. It's actually the death of Blue Beetle. And I loved seeing the relationship between Booster Gold and Blue Beetle, and why Blue Beetle goes to fight again. I thought was really interesting. So once again, Tom Taylor nails it with the character interactions with Injustice. It made me care about a group of characters that I usually don't care about. So Injustice 2 issue 5 gets a solid 4 stars with, of course, gorgeous artwork as well. Alright, now we're moving on to number 6. Glad to see this book so high, and that is Deathstroke issue 21. Really solid start to building this new team called Defiance, and really it is just a build-up. It's seeing why the characters want to join in the first place, and their relationship with Deathstroke. So you're seeing Rose and Jericho teaming up, got Wally and Power Girl, and then Deathstroke's ex-wife saying, this is my thing, this is not Deathstroke's thing. And I love the twist in the end, which, I mean, we knew this character was going to show up, but we needed a mole on the team, and guess who that's going to be? Of course it's going to be Terra. So I love that ending. It's a really solid issue. It makes me stoked for this direction of Deathstroke, and I love that this is like a Teen Titans book now. It's the dark version of the Teen Titans with a set of characters I really care about, like Rose, Terra, Deathstroke himself. So those are 3 characters I really like. So very excited to see where this one goes. So Deathstroke issue 21 gets 4 stars, and that is number 6. Moving on to number 5, this is also one I don't think has been my top 5 for a long time, and that is Jessica Jones, issue 10. Really enjoyed this issue. I think Brian Michael Bendis had a lot of fun writing the dialogue between Maria Hill and Jessica in this issue, because a lot of fun. First, you know, of course every issue Jessica's like, I don't trust her, I don't trust her. And Maria walks in and it looks like she's gonna die. And of course it's an LMD. It's the life model decoy, and she's like, alright, I lied, that was an LMD, but I'm here now, and Jessica's like trying to figure out, is this really you? So now she's digging deeper into learning more about Maria, and goes to her father, so you see, you know, what type of family Maria comes from, so that was a lot of fun. And also there's another detective on, or another PI, in this storyline who's looking for Jessica and trying to figure out more about Jessica Jones, which was a really interesting ending. So love the character work here, and also builds up the plot, builds up some mystery of a new direction for Jessica Jones. So really solid issue here, one of the best I've read of Jessica Jones in a while, and I gave this 4 stars, and that is number 5. Moving on to number 4, which is, we got Motor Girl, issue 7, a book I love. I will say issue 6 was a bit stronger, but the moments when Sam's on panel are so strong. We get to see Sam after the explosion of the boy, after the boy dies. The building collapses on him, because we get to see Sam has fallen down because something, I guess, wrong has happened with her health, and she starts remembering her time in Iraq, and she keeps asking the same questions, like, where am I, what happened? So you're seeing that maybe her, you know, her head was damaged a bit. And now we're in the current scene, which is really powerful, where she's going to the hospital in the present, where she says, where's the boy, where's the boy? So she still thinks she's in Iraq. So just a really interesting look at Sam's mental cognition. And then a really powerful scene that ends the issue is with Sam going into the CT scanner, and she doesn't see Mike. She's like, where's Mike? Why has he disappeared? You know, her friend, the one person that's been keeping her sane, really, where is he? So really love that scene. And then we have, you know, her friend, you know, the person who owns the junkyard, find out what's been going on with Sam, and she needs to sit down. So, you know, really great artwork there. I will say the alien parts, I feel like could have been tied in a little bit better with Sam's, because that's when the story slows down a bit, which is why it's not as, it could have been higher, I think, this book, but still, some really great emotional beats, wonderful artwork for this book, and if you're not reading Motor Girl, you definitely should. So Motor Girl issue 7 gets 4 stars, and that is number, what was it, number 4. Moving on to number 3, a book that is back and returns with a solid issue, and that is Zodiac Starforce Cries of the Fire Prince, issue 1. And damn, this is fun. This is exactly what I wanted from this book when it started. It's the girls back in action. We see kind of their love lives, some of their friendships, you know, where they're at as characters, and then teaming up as their, you know, Sailor Moon type characters. Was so much fun. And then we get to see the villains creating this Fire Prince, and that's what happens in the end of the issue. So a lot of fun, some great action. If you like the magical girl genre and you want to see kind of an Americanized version of it, I think you're going to really enjoy this one. So I gave this one 4 stars. Very good start for Zodiac Starforce. Moving on to number 2, which is Hawkeye, issue 8. Really love the moments between Kate and her father in this issue. Just love the family dynamic and kind of the mystery of Kate's family unraveling, and the good guy versus bad guy also beating the daughter versus father. That was cool. I will say the present storyline kind of slows down a bit because the supporting cast isn't as strong as I think they could be. I feel like they're presented like they're very strong characters, but we still don't really know much about them and why we should be attached to them. So that was a bit of a letdown, but everything else was really solid. There's some great emotions here, some great action sequences. Like this 2-page spread I was really impressed with in the end of the issue where Kate jumps out of the building. That was such a good scene. So great emotion, great action, solid issue. So I'm going to give Hawkeye issue 8 4 stars. Now moving on to number 1 was my pick of the week. And this week it is Babyteeth, issue 2. I really been surprised with this book because I originally wasn't even going to pick it up. I thought the story wasn't really my taste, but then I read it, and our main character has such an interesting voice. And that continues here. Really what this issue is about is her getting used to motherhood. She's getting the help of her sister, her father, really building some interesting connections with them, being very solid supporting characters, and also unraveling the world of her baby being the Antichrist. He has these razor teeth, he needs blood to feed on, and then there's this assassin chasing him. But what the issue does a good job at is actually building the assassin. We see they also have a father-daughter relationship, so you see it's kind of another family dynamic here. So very interesting issue. Aftershock's been giving us a lot of great stories this year. So Babyteeth issue 2 gets 4.5 stars for me. That was my pick of the week. Please let me know in the comments below what was your pick of the week and everything in between. Hopefully you guys enjoyed. Of course, I'll have a Comic Uno episode next week. This was Comic Uno, Comic Frontline. Don't forget to follow me on Twitter. Don't forget to like my Facebook page. Don't forget to go check out my comic book, Like Father, Like Daughter. And check out the Facebook page and like the Facebook page of Like Father, Like Daughter. And I'll see you guys later. Bye.